So there I was. It's a Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, whatever you want. And I was cooking, as I usually do, because I do like to cook. It's one of my hobbies, but I also need to cook for subsistence and whatnot. And I decided, well, hold on. At first I was also like, man, I haven't done a video in 2 days. Should I play the shot? Should I play Shadow of the Colossus again? I'm like, you know, I'll play that during the week. Today's a different kind of day. So now I'm introducing a new series. The How-To, Life Advice, and Whatever series. All it really is me just talking about random bullshit. And then, yeah. So in this one, because of what I was doing today, I will be talking about how to make spaghetti and meatballs. In no way, shape, or form is it going to be accurate or helpful to you whatsoever. Well, I gotta get out of here. So, at first, what you want to do is, obviously, you want to shop for stuff. So the thing I like to do, so I like to feel a little better about myself, is I like to get like the leanest beef I can, which is usually going to be about 94% wise or something like that. Hold on, let me get this fucker. Okay, cool. You get that, you get a bunch of veggies and whatnot, you get some sauce. I mean, you can make sauce like my aunt does. This is also kind of my aunt's recipe. But the chance of that actually happening, because making sauce takes forever, and God knows I don't have that kind of time. So, you get like any fucking pasta sauce you want. Fuck you, then. Thank you. Get whatever pasta sauce you're trying to get. I usually use mushrooms and bell peppers for the veggies. Some vegetable oil or whatever oil you do choose to use, because everybody and their grandmother has their own variant of oil for some reason. Eggs, breadcrumbs. I like Progresso's breadcrumbs because, like I said, it's easy, it's cheap, and it works. Eggs, if I didn't already say that. Actual spaghetti, you could use any noodle you want, just because, I mean, do it your way, it's your food at the end of the day. I fucking hate Zarya. Anyway, where else was I? Trying to think of other things that you're gonna need for this whole gig. Veggie, almost any kind of like any veggie you want that's decently able to cook, because you're gonna saute them all first. Come on. Oh, I tried to give you a shield. Fuck yeah. Eggs, breadcrumbs, all that shit. Awesome. So, when you're actually making the shit, you're gonna start, the first thing that you should really focus on is the actual meat itself and making it into the ball. Actually no, that's not the first thing you want to do. You really want to saute those veggies first to get out that flavor, get all that extra flavor out of there. And seasoning the veggies, because it's gonna take the longest, and at the end of it you have to all put it in the pot anyway, do all that jazz. So, get your vegetable oil, get whatever you're trying to get, throw in that olive oil, get all your spices and shit, mix it up with all those spices and whatnot. I like to use red pepper. I also like to use red pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne, because I'm a spicy boy. I like my spices. What else do I? Oh wow, you're a dick, dude. Some spices. I also like to put lemon and lime juice with everything. I just like the taste of it. Cayenne, red pepper, yeah. So whatever kind of seasonings and sauces you want, you really want to cover all of your veggies in those. But make sure you don't put them. Cool. I actually got a kill. Saute that shit. One of the main reasons why I like to use mushrooms for it is because mushrooms, they sort of tell you when they're done cooking, and when they are done cooking, everything else is kind of done at that point too. They'll get a little brown. They'll get like a brown color and they'll start to get a little floppy. So it should be anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes while they're sauteing. And while they're sauteing, in their spices and everything, you want to fuck around with the meat a little bit. Start breaking it up. Start throwing your spices in the meat and whatnot. I usually use the same spices because I like spices a lot. You don't have to do that. You can have plain old boring fucking meatballs, it's whatever. So, you rub your meat down. Hey, rub your meat down. I apologize for that. Shit, sorry. I fucking hate this character. Oh, cute. So you rub your meat down. By the time you're done, oh shit. By the time you're done with all that, your veggies should be ready. So just take those out of the pan or whatever you're doing. Set them to the side. Once you set those bad boys to the side, I normally try to get all the oil, or I usually keep the oil that's in there, the leftover from the sautéing, so I can use for the actual meatballs. Now here's where you go for the actual meatball. Fuck. Fuck. So you rub your meat down, get all that shit in. Now, the key thing is, like, for every half pound, and normally whenever you buy stuff, whenever you buy, like, chopped meat, you're gonna have, oh, well, that's a shame. Whenever you buy chopped meat and whatnot, you're probably gonna have, it's probably gonna come in, like, quantities of half pounds. So for every half pound, I usually like to use about 2 or 3 eggs with it. Now, the eggs are important because that's what's gonna make the meat stick to itself and whatnot. So the meat's gonna, it's gonna make it more volatile or not volatile, what am I saying? It's gonna make it more willing to stick. But the thing that really makes it stick together and gives you that traditional meatball kind of texture is why I don't want to stay a team. These guys are assholes. And granted, I'm not even trying either because we're talking about meatballs or the breadcrumbs. So from there, you take the breadcrumb, you take your meat loaded with all your spices and whatnot. And you throw, if you have a pound of it, I usually get a pound just because I like the meatballs too. Throw 4 eggs in there and start mashing it up. Now there's a variant of this where you can put like mozzarella cheese in the middle. That's great too. Who doesn't love mozzarella cheese? So once all your shit's all nice and good and whatnot and malleable, and you can always add eggs and add breadcrumbs to fix the ratio, because if you have too much of a slimy meatball, it's gonna fall apart in the sauce, and you know, then you don't have a meatball. So that's another thing. Make sure you have like some mozzarella. I usually like to get a knot mozzarella whenever I make this, but today I had to get shredded cheese because they were out of knots. Knots, really stupid. So with all your mixtures in there, pat it down, and then sort of like you roll it in your hands, and then bam, you got a fucking meatball. Now if you want to put the cheese in the middle, flatten it out, put that fucking shit, put that mozzarella in the middle of that meatball on the flattened meatball, and then just curl it up like a dumpling. And if there's any like open spaces for you, don't try to squeeze it, because then it's going to make your meat thin, and if your meat's thin, the chances of it falling apart are greater, which you want them to fall apart eventually because you're going to fucking eat it. But if you don't want it to fall apart, you don't want it to get lost in the sauce is what I'm trying to say. So you pat it down with all the meat, get it nice and round, nice rolled shape. And when you're rolling it, don't go too hard, because then again you'll make the fucking meatball explode, and then you got to either start from scratch or whatever. So once those are all done, you get about a pound or whatnot. With that same pan that you used to saute all of your veggies, you throw them in there, and obviously you're not going to be able to, you're not deep frying it, because that's fucking crazy. Why would you deep fry a fucking meatball? You're going to have to flip it. So, oh, hello there. How you'll tell how the side's done. Now, it's not going to cook all the way through. I mean, it's going to cook on the sides that you put it down on. But the only reason why that is a thing is because... Oh, damn, I thought I almost had that. What was I saying? The reason why you're not going to be able to get it all the way is just because a ball doesn't really have sides, so you can't evenly get it all the way through. So the best way to do it is you throw it on there, wait till the side that it's laying on. It's a nice, like, crusty brown. And I know that doesn't sound appetizing at all, but trust me, that you want that kind of a meatball with a hard center, or a hard shell, a nice sloppy, is it sloppy? I don't know, maybe center, a nice like moist center, a nice moist ball center. God damn it. Oh, thanks, man. So then once that brown flaky side is achieved, you want to flip that meatball over with some tongs or something like that, and then you want to... Why is this guy... Oh, hello there. Oh, gotta go. You flip it over, wait for the same time, and then once it's all brown and stuff, your meatball is essentially done. From there, here's where you get with the sauce. You throw all your veggies in a pot, and then you cover it in sauce. Oh, dickhead. Take all those veggies, put it to a nice high temperature at first. Throw all your veggies in there, so it gets that flavor from the sauce on top of it. And you can even throw your spices and whatnot inside of those. Oh, hello there. Inside of the sauce. Shit, sorry, I had to focus for a second. So you throw your spices in the sauce if you want to. If not, that's cool too. You throw your veggies in the sauce, wait for it to boil a little bit, and then with your complete meatballs, the ones that you just got done frying, you throw those bad boys in there. At this point, you want to lower the temperature a little bit because you don't want to overcook those meatballs. Because nobody likes overcooked meatballs. You still want to keep that nice. You don't want the outside to be burned and tarnished and whatnot. And you definitely want the center to still be like that moist, like gooey thing, especially if you got the cheese in the middle, because like then you just have a crust ball and it's just not appetizing. So after all that's said and done, you throw all the balls, you throw all the fucking veggies and shit in the sauce, and you let it go for a little, like anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes in that boil. And oh yeah, I totally forgot about the most important part, the actual spaghetti. So while that's going off, I usually do this beforehand, but it's probably smarter to do it as the meatballs are simmering. You get a pot, and however many, so like, I didn't realize this first when I started making spaghetti and meatballs, but one package of fucking spaghetti will go a long way. Like it will, like if you're a single guy like myself, one thing of spaghetti noodles will have you going for probably a week, depending on your eating habits and whatnot. So that's a thing. I usually have friends over. I like to make food, so I usually use about 2 of them. That could fill a big Tupperware thing. I gotta get out of here. Fuck this. So yeah, all you really do with those, you can add like spices and flavors and shit to the spaghetti, but you don't really want to overkill any of that. So shit. So you throw those little skinny noodle boys into the pot, and then you wait for and then you just set them in there, and once they start boiling, they should be good to go. But always a good way to test it if the noodles are good, because you don't want hard noodles, because hard noodles are just bad. You throw that bitch, you take one of the noodles out, you put it in your mouth, and you just taste it. Just plain and simple. Or you can throw it against the wall. I know people who do that, but that's just a waste of spaghetti, in my opinion. So do that. And then after that, man, you are good to go. You got some spaghetti and fucking meatballs, man. It's a very liberal recipe. I mean, I messed up a few times. I gotta get. So yeah, man, that's how you make meatballs. They're really good. So, yeah.